It's one thing to work hard to get business. It's another thing to be better so that you earn business and it can come towards you. And I have to tell you, I met kind of a friend of a friend the other day online, and we had a chance to chat. And her marketing and the information she had about herself just jumped off the page at me that said, I'm a professional in the probate space. Let's do some business together. Stephanie Hopkins is the probate title agent out of the St. Petersburg, Hillsborough County, Florida. Stephanie, welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Bill.
So give me a little background. How'd you get into being a title rep in the real estate business?
Yeah, so I had initially started a notary business. I had a client, an exclusive client who was a title agent. She needed assistance in her office. She said that I was a great communicator, effective and relatable. And she says, you know what? I will pay you to be a title agent. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I'll pay for everything for you to become a title agent. And I said, okay.
Wow. And here you are.
Here I am.
Now you brand yourself, if you go into your LinkedIn, as probate title agent. So tell me, what does that mean? And what was the inspiration to do that rather than just like every other title agent that just does everything?
Absolutely. So the inspiration actually came from me nearly losing my life to COVID. So when that occurred, I said, God, if you get me out of this, what do you want me to do? And, with that, I said, let me become this probate title agent. He said to me, Stephanie, I'm not making any more land. You need to convey this to others and speak my truth, particular to the BIPOC and marginalized communities, the importance of estate planning. So with my background in healthcare administration and risk management, I've also studied as a probate, and I have a probate paralegal. And I have over 20 plus years in the insurance industry in various sectors. Wow. I learned how to mastery stack my skills to prepare me for this assignment.
Wow. And one of the things I know you're most proud of that caught my attention was that you're really focusing on helping the transition of intergenerational wealth. So how's probate and avoiding probate factor into that process?
Absolutely. So my goal is to teach the BIPOC community the importance of estate planning in order to leverage their generational wealth, as well as it would be beneficial to the financial world as well. Could you only imagine if everyone had their affairs in order, how smoothly, this process will go? And that's my plan. Instead of, this world is reactive, it's to be proactive and speak about it, still give people the opportunity while they still have the voice to do so, right? And make them aware that, the will is like a storyteller, it will come to life and speak their truth when they're no longer here. That will safeguard their assets to ensure that it will get dispersed accordingly and to whom they want it to be dispersed to, as well as keep the bond between the family that should prevail during a time like that.
Well, I think both keep the bond and avoid the separation. Because Absolutely. One thing I've seen, even if every family just stayed the same, that would be a blessing enough. The problem in probate is they end up trying to not kill each other, but fight each other with attorneys and wasting money and emotional trauma and ruin relationships for the rest of their lives. And I always feel like what would the parents in heaven looking down think about watching the siblings fight like that? They would be horrified to see they didn't fill out some paperwork and they could have avoided that. I just always wonder what the parents would be thinking.
Absolutely. As I tell the clients that I have that are distraught, as they're going through this process, they're like, I don't understand, why did my loved one do this? I thought that they loved me, and I have to steer them straight and say, hey, I completely, I can only imagine of, what you're feeling right now. But look, this is what you can do moving forward to protect your own assets and from your family going through this whole process. And I tell them, the courts is not the time to have family therapy. All of that needs to be done before you get there, because just like you said, you're losing a lot of time and money in that process, having those issues.
One of the things I found fascinating is that you have an affiliation, so you're able to do title business across the country.
Yes, yes.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so with my collaboration with America's Title, I'm able to close title nationally.
That's exciting. And so, do you offer title services? Do you also offer closing services? What kind of services do you get involved with?
Yeah, so my title agency surrounds itself to servicing the probate and estate services, right? Nice. So we have individuals who need to sell their home. We help with that. But because we know that that area is sensitive, we make sure that we partner with realtors who understand the sensitivity of the matter. Yeah. So I partner with a lot of probate realtors to sell those properties when need be. I also have notary services. We handle notarizations online, internationally, as well as mobile.
Well, I know you're all that in a bag of chips. You're also an author. Tell me about your book.
Oh, yes. So I had the great opportunity to lend my voice to Money Talks Volume 3. This book is about money mindset, how to protect it, leverage it, and how to grow it. It is derived from the fact of the bank rate statistics that only 57% of Americans can save $1,000 for an emergency.
So stop once again. You got to say that again, because we all hear that stat and nobody really pays attention to what you're saying. So just say that one more time slowly to let that sink in.
57% of Americans don't even have $1,000 in their savings for an emergency.
That's stunning. And I hear that number and you go, wow, that's oh, and the Dodgers lost. What? How do people live on $1,000 savings? And the answer is not very well.
Yeah. Just as 77%, according to Consumer Reports, and 82% between African Americans and Latinos do not have a will. And right now we're in the great wealth transfer. So there's $84 trillion that are scheduled to transfer hands between now and 2024. And due to the lack of planning, the BIPOC marginalized community misses out on this. And I always tell them too, they're like, we're not missing out on this. You know, we are accumulating wealth. I'm like, accumulation is one thing, but preserving it is another. Mm-hmm. So we talk a lot about accumulation, but we don't do the bridge to the preservation. And that's where the wealthy gets us all the time, because they know how to preserve their money.
Right. Well, and there's no real magic formulas. It's just they plan ahead and they execute the plan. And too often we find in general homeowners and disproportionately minority homeowners disproportionately don't plan ahead. They didn't plan to make the money in the first place. But, you know, and for a lot of people, quite frankly, they were just living modest lives, owned a house and paid it off over 30 years. But 50 years later, it's worth a lot of money, right? They didn't plan to be wealthy, but it just turns out if you do that, you're going to be wealthy maybe over time, at least some level of wealth compared to most people. So, well, great. Well, look, Stephanie, I know we're going to have you on our Probate Weekly in April. We're excited to have you then. But in the meantime, if someone want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to talk to the probate title agent and find out how you can help them with their program?
Absolutely. So you can just hit me up on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to do that right there. There you go.
Yep. Perfect. Yep.
And there it is. LinkedIn is Probate Title Agent. I love your branding.
Thank you.
I just love it. Like, if I was a title rep, because that just says what you do. And I got to tell you, Stephanie, how many title agents are there in America? Like 500,000. How many branded as the probate title agent? You.
None.
Well, you, one.
That's it.
And I think if you're smart, I think for all of us who are listening to this, whether you're a realtor or a vendor or whatever, you know, you want to create value for your customer, and you want to make sure it's clear what your value is. And so on LinkedIn, the probate title agent, and your book and everything else you have going on. I really appreciate your time, Stephanie. Thank you so much for making time for us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Bill.